Hi, everyone. My name is Hanna. I'm from the Skybound creative team over here in Los Angeles. And I have the pleasure of speaking with Kim Joy today. I'm so excited. Kim Joy was introduced to the world when she competed on the 2018 season of the Great British Bake Off and placed as a finalist. Since then, she's written multiple cookbooks that have inspired chefs of all ages to create bakes that make you smile. So welcome, Kim Joy. So excited to have you here.
Hello, thank you for having me. Exciting.
Yeah,
My lovely
yeah.
as well. Sounds cool.
Would love to start, with a pretty easy question, I hope, but probably an insightful one. How did you first get into baking?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I've got the most easy, straightforward answer for that because none of my family bake, and it's just something that I kind of picked up a little bit. I think what it was with baking was I realized I don't know the exact moment this happened, but I realized that you can bake something and then give it to people, and then it's a really good icebreaker and it's a really good way to get people to like you. And so from there, I just enjoyed trying to like keep doing the same recipe, trying to make it better, and then adding my own little twist to it.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to get in. Definitely. And obviously, as I mentioned in your intro, fans will probably know you from the Great British Bake Off. I wonder if there's anything that would surprise fans to learn about the Great British Bake Off experience, and maybe what one of your favorite memories is from that experience.
Oh, I guess people might be, because I think sometimes with the way it's shown, like it looks like they give you the challenge and then you just do it, but you do practice it beforehand. But actually, before you film any of the episodes, you actually practice every single week and you submit your recipes for every single week, which is why it's even more gutting if you go home in week one, because you've practiced every single week. And yeah, and it's sort of hard when you're practicing anyway, because when you're practicing for the last week, you're kind of like, is there any point? I don't think anyone did. I think you just try and figure that out a bit later on. You had it was like a double-barreled question. And I can't remember.
Yes, it was. Just a favorite memory from that experience.
Favorite memory is probably just being in the final and then just seeing everybody with like friends and family just waiting there. And it's so weird because for the whole experience it's just like you guys and the film crew, and then suddenly it's like it mingles with the rest of the world and it's quite surreal. It all combines.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I'm sure that was a surreal experience to have to go through. But clearly it's really, just launched your amazing career. And it also is the reason why we have brought you here today. Partially it's because we have launched a baking card game with you. So I'd love for you to show off the game box if you could right now.
Yeah. We'll show it.
Yeah, I want to note that this is an earlier prototype version of the game, and the box will look even greater in the final product. But I wanted to know, how did you first get into card games?
So when I moved to Leeds, it's like north of England, because I moved here for my master's degree, and I didn't know anyone really apart from like my course. I thought I'll join a board game club, which is also how I actually met my partner. So I used to go every single week, and we used to play board games, and I play games with him. But he owns the shops, selling, like running the board game nights as well. And yeah, that was that. But before that, I played a little bit, but that was when I got mostly into it, because it's just, I think, because I'm not really that good with just talking to new people. So it kind of helps when you have a board game you can play and you don't have to like do like small talk and stuff. You can just play a game, and it's just such a great way to bring people together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, there is an aspect of this game that I think is really special, and it's a cooperative style board game instead of player versus player. Would love to know like why you wanted to make it that kind of style.
I think like with the Bake Off and what everyone loves about that is how people help each other. And I felt like it really fitted as well with me. And like I like competitive games as well as cooperative, but I just thought it really fitted with the whole theme of the baking and you need to work together and create something. And I can picture families of young kids playing it together because it's not so like, you know, if something's really competitive. I like me and my partner Nabil, I can get a bit competitive sometimes, but I'm a secret competitive. So on the outside, I don't look competitive at all. But I think you're most competitive with people like who you're close to. So yeah, if I lost a couple of times, I'd be like, I'm not really into that game as much anymore.
Yeah.
So I think with this it's nice when you can work together and you don't have that competitive element as part of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that is something that all families can really enjoy, is not tearing each other apart, but actually coming together to make something really unique and special. What is your favorite part about the game?
Oh, I love the artwork. Lindo does the artwork, is amazing.
Do you want to show some of the cards?
Yeah. So that's the cover, by the way. But it's
Do you want to hold that up just a little closer so we can get a better shot? There we go.
Prototype version. There's nothing on the back at the moment. But yeah, it's super cute. The artwork, and that's me. And loads of cute animals. Let me find some of the cards. I mean, it's just like super colourful, and all of the characters have loads of personality. So that's like the Fraser Cake customer I'm trying to tilt it in the right way, but I can't reverse the camera thing in my brain. Yeah, super cute. And loads of, I love this one. Had to have a turtle card. So it's a turtle eclipse of the tart. So we've got loads of like puns in there. Love it.
That's awesome.
Look at this panda. I just think with the artwork, it really brings it to life, and I love games where you can build a story in your brain. So it's not just so mechanical. You're actually thinking about the environment and the setting and really building up a story and immersing yourself into it.
Kim Joy, what was it like working with Skybound?
Really, really, really perfect. It just all came together. And so I met Ben and James at a convention. And I think it was San Diego, but we met at two conventions where we were discussing it just sort of came up that I could, because I was thinking I really wanted to do a card game. And I never thought it would really happen actually, but they were really keen, Ben and James were, on making it happen. And we just made it work. And then they came to London and we discussed it again there. And I just think their ideas for the game, as well as my sort of, because I wanted it to be exactly what it is now. So like magical and fun and something where the art really draws you in. And there's story involved. So yeah, they just sort of shared that vision and it's perfect.
What bake from the game would you be most excited to create?
Oh, I really can't pick. There's so many that I love, and it's hard to pick. I mean, I love the fondant fancies. I've made them before, but they've got the customer card for the fondant fancies is a little mouse. So I'm not showing that to the camera. The camera's
yep, a little over. There you go.
So it's a mouse. So maybe I could do like a mouse version of fondant fancies. You know, like make a few of them and then have like a mice's head popping out of one. That would be pretty fun. So I feel like I'd love to take inspiration from all the cards, but involve the animal with the bake. Like with the custard tart, maybe I could put a giraffe on there somehow, like a stencil. That would be cool. Yeah, Jaffa cakes I've done before, but never a monkey version. I don't know how that would work. I'd have to think about that a bit more.
That's awesome. So speaking of monkeys and mice, what is your favorite magical world to spend time in? And what is your favorite creature and animals to incorporate into your design?
My favorite magical world to spend time in, like a real magical world.
I mean, it could be, but in terms of where you set your beautiful bakes, you create all these beautiful, winter wonderlands or a magical forest, aliens. You just have so many different fun worlds.
I don't know. I do love a winter wonderland, and I love forests as well. I love that whole dark and cozy kind of feel. I don't know, all of them. Love all the different magical worlds on cake. I'm trying to, because tomorrow I've got to make a birthday cake for a little girl who's turning 4, and who's a friend's little girl. And I was thinking I'm definitely need to do some kind of magical world of like incorporating unicorn things and mermaids. So that kind of magical world is fun too, but I don't know what it's called. That kind of like rainbow magical world.
Like a Lisa Frank experience.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then are there particular animals that you like to include? I know you love cats.
I do love cats. Cats are probably, I just like cats are really expressive, and they're not too complicated in terms of their form. You can make them quite simply. And I've got 2 cats as well. So I'm a little bit biased with that. But I love trying to put new and different animals in my bakes. So anything that I've not done before. But yeah, cute stuff's always good. Pandas, love pandas. Bumblebees. There's a bumblebee flying around the house at the moment. That's why I thought bumblebees. Nice and cute and sort of round. Bunnies. All of it, really.
That's awesome. And because it is summertime, and I know it's really hot here in Los Angeles, and I can assume it's also getting toasty in the UK. Are there favorite summertime treats that you like to make?
I definitely love Pavlova. Anything with cream and loads of fresh fruit is always good for the summer. And creme brulee, I'm really into. Don't know if that's quite a summertime dessert. I don't know if I necessarily think in terms of a summer dessert and a winter dessert. It's just all acceptable all year round.
Fair enough. And then more getting into the basics of baking, because I'm sure we'll have people who are watching who maybe haven't ventured into the kitchen yet to bake their first, dessert. What would you say is your best tip for someone who's just starting out?
For some, I think it depends. I think the main thing is to find what aspect of baking that you enjoy the most, because there's no point doing something that you don't enjoy, because there's so many different branches of baking, I guess, and also what you enjoy eating the most. So if you enjoy eating like a lot like bread the most, and you think you'll enjoy the process of making bread, then delve a bit deeper into that. I think you've always got an instinct of what part baking you're drawn to, but then also just like gradually increase the sort of difficulty or the length of the bakes, so that you're not disheartened because you've tried to make like a really difficult thing straight away. But then it's also fun to just challenge yourself as well, but don't, like, if you make mistakes, just don't. I kind of expect mistakes, and mistakes are cool, and sometimes really amazing things happen out of those mistakes. And I make mistakes as well, and it's fine.
That's great advice. As someone who's an amateur baker herself, I am constantly making mistakes and have yet to give up. So keep pushing through, guys. I would love to know, what are some essential tools that you would recommend to people who are starting out? What's in your arsenal of bakeware?
Again, depends what kind of area of baking you're going into. But I mean, I guess a rolling pin is always useful if you're making bread, biscuits, cookies, maybe cake as well if you're rolling out like fondant or something. So rolling pin. If you're getting into biscuits, just get a couple of basic biscuit cutter shapes. So just some circles and squares. And if you want to make your own, you can just make paper templates and cut around them. So you don't have to invest in, I think a lot of people think you've got to invest in loads of different equipment. But I think just invest in the basics and then gradually you'll end up with way too much stuff like me. It's like it's everywhere. Always get some good food dyes, because I don't know what it's like over in the US, but here we like a lot of the food dyes in supermarkets aren't very good, and they're not very pigmented. So when you bake like a cake, for instance, the dyes just look really grey and washed out. So you want to get, and that can be a bit disappointing. So invest in good quality food dyes. And if you're doing cakes, it's so good to have an offset palette knife. It's like a palette knife that goes like that. Just super useful for buttercream and everything. And just like a big flat. A turntable's pretty good if you're doing cakes, and you can get super cheap ones for like £5-10 ish. I had one of those for ages and it didn't even turn properly, but it was fine. I kind of, when you get used to something that doesn't work, but you think there's nothing better out there, but it was fine and it did the job. And flat, smooth scraper, like metal scraper, that's pretty cheap as well. That's just for smoothing out if you're doing cakes, like smoothing out the buttercream sides. And a paintbrush, it's pretty useful if you want to decorate or dust things. Things like that don't cost too much. And if you're doing cakes, just like some cake tins, just get one size, like 7 or 8 inch round cake tin, and get at least 2 of them, because then you can do like a tall cake if you wanted to. Or if you have one, it's a bit limiting, because if you want to do a sandwich cake, you got to take it out and wash it and do another. So get 2.
That's a long list, but I'm sure everyone will appreciate how detailed and thorough of an answer that was. So I thank you. And then I know this is going to be a hard one for you to potentially. I'm guessing it's a hard one for you to answer. But do you have a favorite cooking or baking gadget that you love, that you just always go to?
That is hard. I think probably a balloon whisk is always a good adding to my list from earlier. Like a metal balloon whisk that you use, just a hand one, is useful. Whipped cream, you can do lots of stuff with it.
That's awesome. And then last but certainly not least of all these questions is, are there any skills from baking that has helped you in other areas of your life?
Oh, definitely from being on Bake Off. You have to be super organized, and you have to, so like when I was on, I wrote down this bit will take 15 minutes, but whilst I'm doing that for 15 minutes, I'll be doing this other bit, which will take 5 minutes. And then whilst I'm doing that, I'll be watching the oven, which will need taking out, which might take a minute to put onto the cooling rack. So it's things like that. Organization. I think baking helps you to be organized, but also, I don't know, I'm not that I'm sort of organized in some realms, but it helps you be organized when you really need to be organized. It doesn't make you organized all the time, but it helps you when it matters.
Yeah, that's a great thing. I should definitely take up baking. It would help me stay organized in other areas of my life, clearly. Yeah. And then we have obviously a lot of wonderful Expo attendees that are watching this. I would love to know, you guys, in the comments below, if you wanted to note what you would like to see from Kim Joy and Kim Joy's Magic Bakery brand in the future. Is there a show, plushies, perhaps a cookbook of game recipes? feel free to note below. Well, thank you so much, Kim Joy, for joining this panel. We have obviously the Kim Joy Magic Bakery game. Do you want to show off the box once more?
One more time.
One more time. That's it, guys. And again, that's the prototype, and the final product is even more incredible and magical. But yeah, so stay on up to date on all things Kim Joy's Magic Bakery and Skybound Tabletop. Follow Skybound Tabletop across social media. And then Kim Joy, can you please share where we can follow you on your socials? And feel free to also mention if there are any other projects that you want to bring up.
Yes, I'm on Instagram, on all social media as @KimJoy'sKitchen. And I've got a new book out as well called Celebrate of Kim Joy, which is exciting. Yeah.
Very exciting. Can't wait to pick up a copy of that. Well, thank you again. And I hope you all enjoyed this thrilling conversation that we just had, and stay tuned for more.
Hello, welcome to my temporary kitchen, which is kind of like my old kitchen, which was also a bit of a temporary kitchen. But anyway, that's a different topic because that's not what I'm here for. Today I am showing you a raspberry pavlova with little penguins on top to make it extra cute. You can't just have standard raspberry pavlova, you've got to have some animals to live in it and bring it to life. So yeah, this bake is actually inspired by, so I've got a game, a card game, which is very exciting, I know, it's like, which is up pre-order, and it's here, it's behind me. It's called Kim Joy's Magic Bakery. It's super, I mean, one of my other loves other than baking is card games, and that's how me and my partner Nabil met. I nearly didn't say his name properly. I'm sorry, Nabil, I know how to say your name. But yeah, that's how we met. This bake is inspired by the game, and in particular it's inspired by this card, a raspberry pavlova card. So I'm going to make that, but in real form, because the card is great, but you can't eat it. I haven't tried eating the card version, but I just don't think it would go down that well. So I need to make it an edible version. So I've laid out in front of me all the different ingredients that you're going to need. There's not that many, really. For the actual pavlova, it's these ingredients here. And then for like your cream and your raspberries and toppings and stuff, it's your ingredients here. And then these ingredients are just for the penguins on top, which I say are optional, but they shouldn't be optional, but I mean, you can leave them out. So these are ingredients, the main ingredients for the actual pavlova. So it's just a meringue, so you want eggs, sugar, caster sugar is better, like fine sugar, and then moving over to here. So these ingredients are for filling your pavlova, so raspberries, fresh raspberries. I'm just using some mint from the garden, but you can use some basil instead. Just adds like an extra layer of complexity. Vanilla is always good. The lemon is just to make your coulis, which is like the raspberry sauce in the middle, which is super easy to make, takes seconds, well, more than a minute, just over a minute. And then double cream, because you want to whip that up and get that in your pavlova. And then here is just all the stuff for your optional penguins. So you want some marshmallows, you want the white ones, not the pink ones. And some orange food dye, and some fondant, because you're going to turn your bit of fondant orange. Some chocolate, which you're going to melt, just a tiny bit. And some edible eyes, because they need eyes. So ingredient wise, that's it. So I'm just going to go into showing you how to make the actual pavlova next. So to start, it's really easy, just cracking 180 grams of egg white into here, which is about 5 eggs-ish, but it can vary. And then I've weighed out my sugar here. So I'm just going to whisk it on like 1 or 2. I'm whisking on high. So normally I wouldn't try and stop the meringue totally for this long, but just whilst I'm chatting, it should be fine. I'm gonna add just a tablespoon of my caster sugar, a little bit extra. So a minute, whisk it, and then literally just keep repeating that. A minute, whisk it, add sugar, whisk a minute, run around, add more sugar, whisk a minute, run around. You want to make sure that sugar is all dissolved in the meringue and it's not really granular for a good Pavlova meringue. So yeah, whisking, running around. Cool! So that is all done now. My mixer is too warm. All the sugar has been added. You'll notice how the meringue goes super glossy and it stiff peaks, so it doesn't really go anywhere. Whilst that's been mixing, it helps just to get your baking papers and pans ready. So yeah, on these baking trays, you might be able to see I've drawn it's like a faint circle, but I've drawn it on the reverse side, because if you do it on top, then it transfers to your Pavlova. So just try like do a dollop on each of them, which is similar really. So yeah, just make sure that's sort of split evenly-ish between them all. So just use the back of a tablespoon or spatula or whatever, and just, you can see the edges of where you've drawn your circle, and just spread it out to those edges. Just really roughly, I mean it doesn't even have to be exact. We're going to bake for at least an hour. Off to the oven! So I've had a little bit of a break. Probably eaten too much meringue, but no I haven't. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Yeah, so I've melted some of my chocolate in a little bowl, just like chop it up and melt in the microwave, super easy. I'm gonna use that to decorate penguins, which require white marshmallow bases. Okay, so melt the chocolate, get a paintbrush. So you just paint it just across. I mean, you're just doing like, you know, the black markings on a penguin. Just paint it down the edges. So that is the chocolate coating on one. And then you are going to need to make a little orange beak. So just a tiny bit of fondant, food dyes on my pan. So just knead that orange in. Pinch a little bit off for your beak, just teeny tiny bit. Like that. There you go, so just pinch off the tiniest speck. And then, hello Inky! Hello! Hello Inky! Oh! No, I haven't even whipped the cream yet, that's later. Oh, he won't want to stay. He's very active. You're very active, aren't you? Come on then. No. What? I need to make penguins. Putting eyes on the penguin. So I'm just using these edible eyes. They're really nice and easy. I'm just going to empty them and find some good ones. So yeah, 2 little edible eyes. And ta-da! Pavlovas. All looking amazing, pretty much crack free, which doesn't always happen. Yeah, so I'm gonna just let them cool a bit before assembling, but I think I'm just gonna let them cool on here. You can put them on a cooling rack, but I'll just let them cool on their trays and then do the fun part, which is assembling and put it all together. So my Pavlovas are now cool. I have prepped all of my ingredients I'm going to use to assemble it. So double cream, nicely whipped up. You want it to soft peaks. I've also made my coulis as well, which is in here, which is lovely and tart and it's amazing. Okay, so Pavlova layer 1, and this is like so easy. It's like the easiest thing in the world. This is, here's the technique. Dollop the cream. There's the technical term, dollop it. It's whipped with some vanilla paste as well, so it's like, taste amazing. But no sugar in the cream because the meringue is already so sweet that you don't want too much sugar. make it a little bit messy, always makes it appealing. And then just stud your raspberries. And then I've got, just get your coulis and dollop it again. Dollop some blobs of that. Then I like to use mint leaves, you can use basil leaves. Just gives it a bit of freshness and interest. And that bit of green always looks nice. And then tier 2 goes on top. And then yeah, you're just kind of repeating, do the same thing again. Dollop that cream on, but make sure you save lots of cream for the top. This time I'm going to embed a little penguin. I'm going to embed him there. And then, yep, just pop all those raspberries around again. And put this layer, make it sit on that penguin. And chuck all of that extra cream. Just pour it on. Look at that! So not like the coolest thing you've ever seen. Kind of just want to leave it like that really, but I'm gonna smush it out a bit more. Pile of raspberries in that center. Pile them up wherever, scatter them around, and get your little penguins. And this is the fun bit, really. Just kind of embed them wherever you see fit. Oh, it looks so good. So I never know how to cut into pavlova. I just think, do you cut it? Do you spoon it? I don't know. But first one I'm gonna cut. Sorry, penguins. I'm gonna do a big wedge. Look at this. Oh my god. Look at these layers. Like pavlova is just the best thing. There's nothing more superior than this in life. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed stepping out of the world and into a penguin paradise for a little bit. I'm going now with this. Bye bye. Bye.